Before we see the main video, here is one of my very early videos of a completely original DMR lift, recorded in 2008, just before it was modernised a few months later. This footage was obtained by me, but courtesy of RizzBriff, who was the king of lift videos until he took his channel down in about 2012. I have messages about him from time to time, and he is in good health and I'm still in regular contact with him. This video is my favourite Mr. Matt and Mr. Che video, and I wish I'd had the opportunity to revisit this place, but these lifts no longer exist. The floor selector is one of a kind and it's fascinating to watch. If you've not seen this video yet, a link is coming up at the end of the video. I've been given a tip-off by Pete Lomas, a retired lift engineer, that this place had DMR lifts, and the service lift at the back of the building may still be original. I set out to do a survey, and I managed to take this sneaky photo through the goods entrance. But then I planned to ask at reception. The reception was busy, and I took the opinion that my request would be dismissed, especially unarranged. From my personal experience, I find people not very accommodating of my interest, would prefer to find reasons not to rather than honouring any request. But this is sort of a public building, so it was far easier to take a look for myself, which didn't end up the way I intended. As a rule, I always start filming the subject that I came for, then retrace my steps and film the build-up sequences afterwards. So here I am on the top floor at the back of the building with a rather spooky stairwell. Imagine this at night. It's pretty obvious that this is no longer a DMR lift. I am a little bit disappointed, but to be honest, I kind of knew that it would be modernised by now. But the doors are still original and just wait till we ride it. To ride this lift on my own is a nightmare. It's in constant use. But I had to run over a mile to reach this place, as I was working nearby, so it's worth the patience. Instead, I go to the lower ground for any signs of the original DMR lift. Pete reminded me to look out for the old wooden door frames, which are still here. The flickering of the vacuum fluorescent floor indicator is a camera issue. It isn't flickering, it's just a frequency issue between the display and my camera. After running all the way back up to the 16th floor, the lift is finally free. I know this lift has been modernised, but this uninterrupted ride from 16 all the way down to the lower ground makes up for it. I've matched up an original DMR display to help take you back to the 1970s for a ride in this DMR Express lift. Now that was so cool. I should have gone straight back up, but there was someone waiting outside. Considering the height of the ceilings, that was pretty quick. I just have to do that again. But I made the mistake of waiting for the lift in the lower ground with the security office next to me. Then the security guy makes an appearance. I did not lie, and I told him exactly what I was doing and why I was here, and that Pete Lomas once worked in this area and had given me the heads up. Unfortunately, even though the security guy had worked in the building for a long time, the name Pete Lomas wasn't registering, including my story about DMR lifts and the history of the building. I wasn't winning the guy over, so he recommended that I went back to reception and asked permission to re-enter and speak to the building management. And yeah, he showed me the fire exit door that you can see in the bottom left. Had this lift been original, then I would have done all I could to comply with the security guard's requests, but it's not. So really, I had no reason to go back in. But I walk out knowing that I was respectful to the guy, because overall, he's in charge of security in the building, and it's his job to protect it.